our first episode here. I'm Scott, DrGorillaNuts.
Skylar, SkyFactor.
Yeah.
You
We do Icons of the Ring, Legends creations in WWE 2K series. So, what we kind of want to just branch out and talk about today is what we specialize in Legends creations and basically just give some of our feedback about those modes and the inclusions of legends and things like that. So, Scott, do you want to kind of kick it off about what we've done and
yeah, so we obviously if you follow us and follow our work on X, we're part of Icons of the Ring. We specialize in Legends creations. I specialize in Legends movesets specifically. Um and yeah, you might have seen us on Pro Wrestling Shoot. You might have seen us on Assemble talking with those guys, and yeah, this is our first little test run, our first episode. So
yeah,
kind of wanted to give talk about Creation Suite a little bit, and also give our first impressions of what we've seen so far uh, with 2K26.
yep, absolutely. So, speaking of which, I mean, what are your impressions of some of these deluxe editions, these legends that we're getting? The K98, I know, has been a big discussion amongst the
So
community.
so K98 looks way better now. I mean, they obviously there was a big uproar about that. You know, it looked like originally it looked like they just kind of threw a Kane mask over and the old attire over old man Kane. But
Yeah,
since then, what we've seen, and we've seen his entrance, he looks great. He looks way better. Much closer to what we wanted. The hair is better, the body type. Um, I'm the deluxe editions. I'm pretty excited about the bonus legends they included. You know, Shawn Michaels DX, the Triple H DX. You have the Rock 99. You have WCW Roddy Piper 98. So there's some cool ones in there. Macho Man 98. Kind of curious to see how they turn out.
yeah. Do you have it pre-ordered?
I do not yet.
Okay. If you pre-order, what edition are you gonna get?
um, I'm kind of a completionist, so I'd have to get the Monday Night Wars one.
Yeah.
Especially it's got Roddy Piper and Macho Man and what was it, the Shawn Michaels DX. Plus you plus it has all the ringside passes. But I'm very I still want to see the full DLC roster. You know, there's still a lot. I feel like there's a lot of stones that they haven't uncovered yet,
Yeah.
turned yet. So
And then I know we were talking about too with the legends specifically because that's what we specialize in. Um, we were talking a little bit in the pre-show here about that there's less removals nowadays. It seems like we were talking about like Doink, British Bulldog. Those are two that I just love seeing making like the game every year. Um, Unfortunately, we lost, Jake the Snake Roberts and Ted DiBiase the year prior and things like that. But do you have some hopes? Like I know we've talked about hopes of our DLC legends coming out, like anything that you're really excited or hoping
you
that we get?
you know, um, I got to say one thing that these games have done very well the last since 2K22, they've done a great job with the DLC. You
Mhm.
know, and I'm not talking about the superstars or the celebrities or anything like that, but we've gotten a vast amount of legends, and some you wouldn't even expect. You know, Abyss, New Jack. So I I feel like we might get a few surprises this year. I We can kind of talk about who we'd like to see back in or who we think might be back in. I know a big one for me. I'd love to see Big Boss Man back. Um,
Oh yeah.
especially I'd love to see the Attitude Era version because we haven't seen that one in a while.
Hmm.
And or I mean, both renditions would be cool. Another one I'd like to see. Actually, This is the dark horse one for me. I want to see Raven. He hasn't been in a WWE game in probably over 20 years, uh, but he did so much in the business overall. You know, ECW, WCW, TNA, and he's kind of been. He put out his documentary. He's been doing a lot of interviews and podcasts lately. So I'd really like to see Raven back in to a
Mhm.
WWE game. What about
And
you?
I'm
What
gonna
are
be honest with you too, it's like, when you see some of the Hall of Fame, legends going in there, I mean, Demolition immediately comes to mind, like, as people that are signing Legends deals now.
yeah,
Um, I know SmackDown Hotels did a thing about, all the legends that are under Legends contracts, and when you look at it, it's like, it's deep, like,
yeah,
why we aren't getting some of these, like, I mean, IRS, I mean, granted, I would love Ted DiBiase back in order to get IRS, but like, there is a lot of guys now on Legends deals that could really make some Legends DLCs really interesting.
yeah. No, I agree. Like you said, Demolition, IRS, um, Earthquake, and Typhoon.
Oh yeah.
I could see them possibly being included in the DLC. Um, and then you've got wrestlers too. Their kids are wrestling in WWE or NXT now. So like Fit Finley.
Mhm.
Um, Another one was I was surprised wasn't in last year because they had the Bloodline edition. Haku. We could see Haku back in a game. Wait, we did.
Wasn't he in his
We
Islanders?
you're right. We saw younger Haku, but
Yeah.
I was thinking like later day Haku, or maybe even Ming, like a
Yeah.
different. Yeah. I
Well,
forgot they did do the Islanders version. You're right.
yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up because, like, honestly, one thing that I have been like clamoring for the past 2 years, ever since they started doing my faction and my personas and stuff, it's like, okay, yeah, we get like, I'm not knocking any modern, but you're getting a Seth Rollins 23, a Seth Rollins 24. Like, but then you go back to some of the deeper cuts with the legends, and I mean, like, you have Lex Luger in the game. How many
Yeah.
different gimmicks and things did Lex Luger have over the years that we don't see? Even British Bulldog, again,
Yeah.
like Haku, like you have all these guys, these legends that I feel like would excel in a my persona card because it's a totally different thing. It's not just a totally different attire and
Yeah.
maybe something small like a hair, like slightly colored differently or something. It's like you're talking like whole new gimmicks, personas, entrances, theme songs. Like that is one thing that I always was kind of hoping 2K would do is that you introduce my personas. So why are we not getting a lot more legends with variants that are already on the roster? Like you have again, Lex Luger is the biggest one. I want Lex Express. I want Stars and
Oh
Stripes
yeah.
Forever in that game. And it seems like there's the narcissist, you could
Oh
do a
yeah.
whole
You
new
have.
thing with a narcissist persona card. And it seems like 2K kind of is not capitalizing on some of those legends under persona cards. Like
and and
you have them in the
and look at
game.
I also another big one who had like multiple gimmicks who I'd love to see back in the game is Crush.
Oh my gosh,
Crush looked
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, you had so many different variations of Crush. Brian Adams from NWO, Chronic, Kona Crush, Crush and Demolition. That could be here all day.
Yeah.
Um,
And then even his the heel crush with the purple and black. I mean, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, he went through so much. I mean, Vince was throwing so much stuff at the wall there, seeing what would stick with Brian Adams, and it's like
you,
you could if you introduce him into the game, oh my gosh, the amount of persona cards you could do from certain legends would be super substantial. Like you could easily get a
oh,
bunch of
for
these as
sure.
long as you get and even like, Charles Wright, like yeah,
Oh
Papa
God,
Shango, Godfather, you know. I mean,
co-
you just
comma,
yeah, I mean, you have so much of him that were different characters. The
yeah,
Good Father, like you have so much of him
the Good Father.
alone that you could be doing through different eras. So that is one thing that like I would love for 2K to start doing is like capitalize on these legends with their My Persona cards because you really do have, especially a lot of these legends. I mean, they were 20, 25-year careers
Oh
through
yeah,
different decades. So like they were clearly going through as the decades changed, the industry changed. So like
for sure.
why not capitalize on that with I feel like that is what My Persona card should be is focus on those legends that you were getting in the game that had so many variants.
Yeah. Another one too. How come we don't get Farouk in the nation?
Yeah.
And we get Farouk and it's like an APA version, but then we have JBL. We don't have Bradshaw APA version. Like
Mhm.
it's always because it's like I always have to download or find an APA or Acolytes version of Bradshaw so I can put them together as a tag team.
Mhm.
It's kind of I we should be just getting that together. I feel like they should do JBL, Acolytes or APA Bradshaw, and then we get the APA Farouk, and then Farouk the Nation Farouk.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, you look at Triple H, I mean, the guy has almost every persona that he went through in his
Yeah.
career. Why not start doing that with these legends in my faction? I'll be honest with you, I would play my faction if there was a lot of legends cards involved in that. Like, I understand
Yeah.
the
No, I
game
agree.
is, going to gear towards modern wrestling because that's the current
What?
product, but
Of course.
there is still a demographic that loves legends and loves these going back into even historic matches. Like me personally, I love taking a legend and a modern superstar and pairing them into dream matches.
Oh yeah, that's a blast too.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd love. Sorry, I
mhm.
didn't mean to cut. I'd love
No.
to see Gangrel back too. I could that entrance and the theme song. I mean, it hits.
Yeah, it
It
does. I mean,
slaps.
honestly,
You know?
yeah, it's honestly it's one of the best, like, honestly. Yeah, everything about it, and it was so unique too, like, that's the other thing is
Yeah.
you start adding in some of these legends, and then you start getting these unique and brand new entrances and theme songs that, you know, it's not carbon copy stuff, it's very different, and incorporating those into cause and stuff too would be awesome. Like
Oh
being
yeah,
able to
for
take
sure.
Gangrel's entrance and use that on a totally, fictional cause, like that would be awesome. That's a whole gimmick right there.
Yeah, exactly. And, I feel like also they did these deluxe editions. We know the showcase is CM Punk, but
Hmm.
they did an Attitude Era edition. They did a Monday Night Wars edition. I feel like if you're coming out with those editions and those covers, which are beautiful by the way, the covers look great.
Hmm.
Why just add two more or three more new legends from that
Yeah,
era? Like I want more Attitude roster. I want more WCW Monday Night Wars roster. You
right.
know, um, more ECW roster from that era. If you're gonna do special editions like that and kind of make that a selling point, like you gotta, I feel like you gotta add a little more content in there.
Oh, without
Um,
a doubt. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, when I saw the Monday Night War edition, like, announced, I was like, "Oh my god, like, this is a Legends dream, like, this is what we've lived for to see," like, a
yeah,
theme around the Monday Night Wars, and then I'm sitting there and, like, probably, partially delusional thinking, "Oh, we're gonna get Sting, we're gonna get Ric Flair, we're gonna get all these guys back." No, it's just alternates, and it's like
yeah,
it's not it's awesome that 2K is giving us some of those variants again, like K98, which I don't even know why he wasn't in the games, but like that's awesome. But like, yeah, make it if you're gonna slap $150 price tag, then give us, something that's going to be
yeah,
like different than just guys that you were expecting on the roster with a theme that everybody wants,
yeah.
which is Monday Night Wars, and then yeah, maybe throw in just one bonus WCW and one bonus WWF guy, and then you're off to the races. The I would have pre-ordered the minute they announced that.
You know, I will say this too. I do like that the Raw '98 arena is back.
Yeah.
We got the Thunder Arena back, which I don't even know how long it's been since we've had those arenas. And then
Yeah.
also I don't know if you saw this one yet, Scott, but um Survivor Series 97 is in the game.
Oh, that's cool. I did not know that.
I saw somebody, post a thing and it had different pictures of arenas, and I saw Survivor Series 97, which obviously that is notorious for the Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah.
Um,
That is
now I
yeah.
don't know. I don't
I
think we'll
mean,
see that angle in the storyline or the game. That would be something.
we can create it, you know.
Well,
No,
yeah,
but I mean, like,
you definitely gonna be able to create it with having that arena in there.
yeah,
Um,
and that's cool
it
stuff. I mean, and that's what I do love seeing is that they throw these arenas in. I know I've seen a little bit of online about some gripes about the accuracy of arenas. You know, I, I agree. Like it should be super accurate because I'm not we're not creating arena guys, but move sets. I know you've talked about creation with me. I know we've talked about. I mean, we nitpick, so
yeah,
um, you need to you have those tools. 2K has the ability and the talent to do it. So you
yeah.
kind of wish that they would get some of that 100% accurate. But it's great to have those arenas in regardless. I mean, that's the
Oh
bottom
yeah,
line is like it's so cool to have those. Um, yeah, I mean, outside of all of the the deluxe editions and stuff, we kind of went through our wish list with legends. Um, I know we were talking about a little bit with Creation Suite and move sets and stuff. Um, what do you think of like the current like system that they have going? Do you think this is like long term stuff that they can just polish over the years, or do you feel that there needs to be an overhaul to it?
well, I they have been adding more and more every year.
Mhm.
We have more corner running moves. We have moves you can do from the corner as a regular attack. We have more middle rope option diving moves. They keep adding a little more every year, and I've seen even some more new additions. They have that moonsault to the outside now where he jumps and springboards off the ring post to the outside. So more springboard moves is always good. And now this year, I believe it's for AI settings, they're doing the move sequences.
Mhm.
So you can hit him with a running move in the corner, then hit him with a running meteora, and then go up and do a moonsault. And you set that up for the AI so they can do, these three big moves in a row, like you'd watch in real life.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. You could probably come up with some really cool stuff, assuming it works correctly. If
Yeah.
you can get it working right.
Have you
But
seen anything about that move sequences that can you add taunts in before or after a move in that sequence?
so far, I haven't seen anything like that. I had heard about it and seen a clip of it briefly, so I really don't know until I'm actually into the creation suite, moveset
Yeah.
creation suite.
So if it's not in the game, I will say that is one thing I would definitely suggest to them is that it should be added because the one thing that I know we've talked about with like even just like the earthquake splash, like okay, it's the moves that they had you used. You always talked about it wasn't 100% accurate, um, but even to the point where you can throw a taunt in there and kind of make it a little bit more, even if you can program a taunt into this move sequences, it could really add some like authenticity to even if it's just a two move set. You start with a taunt, you do the move, you do a move, you end with a taunt, whatever. It could make some of those things look a little bit more authentic to the way that the superstar, delivered those moves. Um, so again, I don't know. I wasn't sure if you had heard anything about that, but I
You,
personally think that would be cool. Is that in that sequence, add a taunt, like the ability to add taunts so that they can perform a taunt, then the move, or perform two moves, a taunt, whatever.
I
I
I
don't know.
agree. I agree with you about that too because it's funny. I was just talking to my friend or Kyle Wolfpack sets. I
Mhm.
was just talking to him about it because about the we kind of can't stand when they have taunts embedded into a move
Yeah.
because it kind of you can't use it for anyone else. It might be a perfect move for someone, and because that weird taunt is in there, you're like, oh, this is not going to work for so and so. So
Right.
it'd be cooler if you can. Obviously, you could do a taunt after doing a move, but if you could do that in the sequences or for AI, that'd be great. I
Yeah.
agree.
So, yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it. I mean, the feature looks cool. Like, I do think that's awesome to be able to string moves together and either have I guess it's is it strictly AI? So I guess, like, the computer would just do it, or I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it'd be AI. It was kind of like that new thing they added last year where uh, I didn't incorporate it in too many move sets because it takes hours,
Mhm.
but you could favorite moves and have them use it earlier in the match or have them use it later in the match, and that was for AI. But you were asking me also what else I'd like to see in the move sets. Um, well, one I don't understand why they separate. They have freeze taunts separated and then the underground taunts now, which kind
Mhm.
of doesn't make sense. I feel like any taunt should be available in that position. You shouldn't have to. Uh, there shouldn't be ones locked in the freeze section and in the underground just for underground matches. It doesn't really. And then another thing is uh, I love when new moves come out. I love seeing new move animations. I love even seeing uh, like older moves that work for like the legends and the older guys. But some of these move animations, I mean, they have been in the games for like 14 years.
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like we haven't got an update on this on on certain moves. Like we have the same you know clothesline 9
Yeah.
that we've had in for like 20 years,
Right.
like I mean,
And I'm always curious because I don't do move sets often, but, like, I'm always curious why exactly do we have a move set like a clothesline 6 and then a clothesline 12? Like, there's what happened to 7 to 11, you know? Like, are they
wait, we got
being
9. I
removed?
I, I told you about
Oh, we have
9.
9?
Come on.
Yeah. But,
We
like,
got
you
11,
you
we got
see those
yeah.
gaps
Yeah.
in the numbers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you wonder, like, I mean, is it that the animation is broken or something, or the like, where were these move sets? Like, were they ported over from previous games and then they just didn't function in the new game? But, I mean, yeah, I think the move sets in general, like, when we get new move sets, like, when we get
Mhm.
new moves from DLC characters and stuff, these things are phenomenal in my opinion. And then I just wish they would I don't know what goes into developing these, but I wish they would go back to previous moves and update them to this new, the current engine and things like that. Like, same with the hairstyles, in Creation
Yeah.
Suite. Like, you have some that look absolutely phenomenal, and then you have some that just look like pieces of string and
String.
paper
Yeah,
coming
pieces of
off their
string.
head. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it looks I don't know, and I know they've talked about that and said that they were going to start upgrading things to the higher standard that they're holding themselves to, but I don't know. In 25, there was some hairstyles and stuff. I know we talked about that one, the Sid hairstyle, the Psycho Sid hairstyle that was in the game, and it floats on the head. It doesn't even attach to the head. Like,
We've we've been talking about that for like 5 years now.
yeah. I mean, at this point,
I
just
know.
get rid of the hair because it looks ridiculous. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, things like that, and
I
I
I
just don't
just
understand.
I know you'll agree with me when when we both say like we just want to see the legends, and for the most part they do. But we want to see the legends get as much love as the current roster.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
we want to see them, like why is British Bulldog scaled so small? Like
Yeah.
why are cruiserweights bigger than he is?
Mhm.
Why the Bret Hart's hair? We won't even go
Oh,
down
yeah.
that road. Uh,
Yeah.
Doink, why can't we give Doink his actual hair and make him look like Doink the Clown and give him a render for goodness sake?
Yeah. And
You
I mean,
know?
me personally, these are guys that should Bret Hart, I mean, that guy should be, you know, touched up every year. Like, he should be tweaked every year to the point where he looks like the modern superstars do.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's small tweaks because a lot of these legends, they're really nailing, like, they are really getting
Oh,
them
some of them
good.
are on absolutely on point. Hogan, why is Hogan's body type? Why is he so just over the top cartoon character
Mhm.
jacked?
Yeah,
You know, and The Rock too. The Rock, like you see The Rock in the, late 90s, his model in the game, and he's just completely ripped. And I'm like, he didn't have washboard abs then. You know,
right.
he wasn't Mr. Muscle Man back then, you know.
Right,
Um,
and I mean, it's they nail the faces. Me personally, I think Hogan's face is great in the game, but the body size is terrible. And then same with British Bulldog. I think the team that did British Bulldog's facial morph and everything, that was fantastic. Like, kudos to them. I really think they nailed his face. Um, but the body again, it just doesn't. It's not
and
big like British Bulldog was.
it's not big, and I know Bulldog was short, but
Mhm.
it's the scale size compared
Yeah.
to, and the Steiner brothers too. That was another one. The old school, like the 90s Steiners, the
Mhm.
mid 90s. If you put them in a match against like cruiserweights, they look about the same size. And
Yeah.
it's like, this is the Steiner brothers, man. These guys were stacked,
Yeah.
you know?
And and it is like you said, like, uh, some of these legends through the '90s and stuff, they did have obviously their weight and height were, I think, exaggerated to some
Exaggerated. Yep.
degree because,
Hmm.
Vince wanted them to be bigger than life and stuff. But in a, retrospective perspective, you are looking at it from the fact that we were 10-year-old kids looking at these guys and they were larger than life. Then you get them in these games and they're as big as a cruiserweight and you're kind of like, ugh, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And then the cruiserweights are bigger than the heavyweights, like X Pac.
mhm,
Um, his model's too big, and I mean, Tyler Breeze shouldn't be bigger than British Bulldog in a video game.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Like, I mean,
yeah,
nothing against Breeze, but yeah. Um,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, like, so you have some misses, like Hogan's way too big, but, like, I appreciate the scale that they're trying to build, but, like, make it more realistic. Like, you
yeah,
can give him his body and he's still going to be a giant in the ring. But, yeah, some of these legends, I do wish they would just, like, start, um, giving a little more TLC to because, again, like,
for
the
sure.
whole reason that we're doing this is to express that there is a legends community out there and a creation community out there, and sometimes it doesn't get touched on as much or talked about as much, and hopefully we can try to get that, get them to hear some two people from the legends and creation community to understand that there's a big demographic and a big market base that
There's
is legends fans.
absolutely every year, as a matter of fact, every year we have people who comment and are you creating this year? We only get the games to download your creations, or we
Mhm.
only get the games to play as the legends, and there are people that literally look for. I'm not just specifying you and me, but just legends creators, legends in the video games. They want to recreate their favorite matches, their favorite wrestlers, their favorite moments in wrestling
Mhm.
history. You know, so there is a
Yeah,
huge market out there, um, and a lot of fans that there's that demand for sure. Absolutely.
absolutely. And I mean, one thing I always joke about is that I wish 2K would put me into retirement where give me every legend that we want so I don't have to create, and then
Oh
we
yeah,
can just play the game and enjoy all the legends that we get in the game. But speaking of creation, I know we've discussed a lot and we've been very vocal about certain suggestions and things like that we want to see put into the creation suite. And honestly, the creation community as a whole is very passionate. I mean, there are so
yeah.
many people in this creation community that, I mean, again, every single creator fest you see come up, you have a ton of people coming out of the woodwork basically saying that car creators, arena creators, moveset creators, all these guys should be included. Um, I'm not necessarily saying that that's the case, but I do think that there should be a big appreciation for what goes into creation because, the creation suite, again, like you have so many things in creation suite that creators are noticing. And we kind of made up a list of certain things too that we've noticed. And it's very minute details and it's very small details that maybe during development they don't pick up on or see, and it's at no
Yeah.
fault of them, but it's just that
Hmm.
when you're spending hundreds of hours creating, you are starting to notice the intricacies of that system. So we have our list here that we've kind of talked about, with things that we would like to see, and I'm going to pull it up here real quick. So a couple things we were talking about. And it's small things like, I mean, face templates are what they are. I mean, we can work with what they give us. Would it be nice to see a couple more added every year? Absolutely. But one of the biggest things I have is the sliders and the dots in regards to, um, when you're putting up like even just a nose bridge or something to a 0
Yeah.
or 100, really you're not noticing a big difference on that particular caw when you start sliding these, digits around.
Hmm.
And one thing that I would love to see is like go back to the THQ games where you could literally make somebody with like their jawline was like pushed into their neck.
Yeah.
Like, can we get more extremes to these sliders so that a 0 and a 100 won't look the same, you know?
Yeah.
Because one thing I always notice when I create like Owen Hart is he had a very his side profile was very like it was his forehead and nose kind of connected. It's
Yeah.
very difficult to get that in the game because no matter
Yeah.
how much you adjust those sliders, you cannot create his side profile with some of the best templates to use. Nose bridge as well. I mean, he had a very wide nose bridge. I mean, you
So
can't get that in the current system the way that it's designed. Like,
you're wanting the sliders to be a wider range,
mhm.
the to be able to go higher or low. I mean, yeah, I understand what you're
Yeah, I
saying.
mean, just basically to the point where a 0 and a 100 would look almost borderline goofy. Like it would
Yeah.
look unhuman because then we as creators could start tweaking it in between that to make it not so much like to that extreme, but give us that option to at least get it wider than we need to or narrower than we need to. um I mean, they used to have like eyelid height and stuff, and they changed all that. Now, I mean, the dots kind of, you can adjust that, but
Yeah.
I do feel like there's very small things that they could, touch on with Creation Suite that would improve that system tenfold, you know?
Yeah. I
Um,
agree.
and another subtle change that I was talking about was the, shadows and nostrils. I know that when,
I did notice
um,
that when you were talking
yeah,
about it.
and when we were on, Jesse and James' podcast, with the pro wrestling shoot, and David was on there with Creation Suite, I had brought that up as well, and I always thought that was something that's just it's. I feel like if you make a basic caw without a face photo, it has shadows in the nostrils. When you add a face photo, it overwrites that shadow in the nostrils. So when you're looking at that caw from certain angles, you're going to see the shading from the nostril appear on the nostril itself here
Yeah.
or under here. So if there is a way for them to just add it that a nostril has shading under there, like the in-game superstars have, like the cause have without a face photo,
Yeah.
I think you're going to see an increase in quality like beyond
Oh, for
belief.
sure.
And it's a very, very small thing, that they could be
Yeah.
adding or changing into their system.
It
Um,
it seems like a minute detail until you really, pay attention to it. And what
yeah.
I'm just curious, what are What are some things that you are excited about or happy to see that have been added to Creation Suite this year? Maybe the hair, the two-tone hair.
Definitely that two-tone hairstyle. Yeah. I mean, I know Cornell had mentioned that it's not it's I don't believe it's applicable to every hairstyle, so I'm
Hmm.
very interested to actually get my hands on it and, like, kinda see what hairstyles can use that two-tone because maybe some don't. Um, One fear that I do have is that there's a couple previews that we've seen from Creator Fest that the content creators have uploaded where the hairstyles almost so the two tone is almost programmed into certain parts of the hair. So not
Hmm.
necessarily from the bottom to the top, but like strands or a braid or something that seems to only apply to that two tone.
Hmm.
So I'm a little bit worried about that. I mean, we really won't know until we dive in. I'm glad that they kept the hair dye though as well on top of the two tone
Yeah.
because when all else fails, we can go back to huffing and puffing and
You,
doing the hair dye thing on it. So I
you know, and
mean,
we and we've been saying for a while too how we wanted. I don't know if it's added this year, included in the two-tone. I don't think so. How we kind of wish they could have you could have two different hairstyles on one person, like you
oh
could
yeah,
combine hairstyles,
yeah.
which which is which looks great for some guys. One hairstyle doesn't cut it. You have to kind of combine two to make it, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like Typhoon comes to mind. I mean, the guy had the most 80s and early 90s hairstyle imaginable. So you
Yeah,
either add that hairstyle into the game or you give us that option to, add two different hairstyles and combine them. I mean, you know, Status kind of broke that open in 2K23 with that, and that was some of the most fun I know you and me have had creating.
oh
Um,
yeah, some of the
when we were,
hairstyles we came up with for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, Owen Hart stuff, like his early 90s, late 80s stuff that we were able to do with those hairstyles. You can't do it without adding two different hairstyles over top of each other. Um, So yeah, I mean, I would love to see something like that come back or come into the game, like
Yeah,
natively come into the game. Um, if not, I mean, give us at least the option of the hair length change. I know that's been talked about a lot in the community about being able to adjust bang length or the hairstyle, like the shoulder width length, like start giving us those options where we can kind of adjust things because
yeah,
again you'll find a perfect hairstyle for a car you're creating, but there's one thing like the bangs are too short.
yeah,
Everything else about it is perfect, but those bangs are too short. Give us that option to extend that, or give us the option, you know again, like I know you and me when we create Atom Bomb, like it's a nightmare trying to find a hairstyle that fits for him because
oh
you have
yeah,
some assets on one that work, some assets on another that work. Um, if we are able to take a certain hairstyle and just extend it a little bit lower, it would be perfect. But, you know,
for sure,
unfortunately that feature is not in, and that's a feature that I feel like is widely requested. Like
for
I see
sure.
a lot of people talking about
I'd
hair
love to
length.
see the I'd love to see the hair length and the double hairstyles come in.
Yeah,
And how
absolutely.
how are you feeling about uh well, in some aspect we don't know exactly how it's going to work this year, but body morphing coming back,
Oh,
you
I'm
know.
excited about that. Yeah. I
I
think
don't know
I
if it's
mean
exactly the sliders or not. We're not sure yet, but even just to morph somewhat, to certain body parts,
mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I know that it to from what I've seen, it almost looks like it's, parts, so I don't know if it's gonna be sliders or not, but it seems like, you're gonna be able to adjust the shoulder, the arm, the chest, the legs, but that's honestly, better than, just a default body type that we've had to try to work for because, again, like, you find somebody I mean, Ahmed Johnson, I mean, it's a nightmare for us to create that body type because he had a very unique body type. And
Yeah.
now being able to get, this body morphing feature back in the game, I really think I'm excited personally to dive in and like see what we can do because I feel like the options are going to be it, it's always going to be up to the creator to kind of figure out, you know,
Yeah.
sort of the workarounds and the and things like that. Um, but personally, I love that. Like, I love new features like that so that we can like really dive in and break
It,
the system, basically. You know,
it's
like
always
go
it's
beyond what they expected.
it's always great to have more options. And finally, one year I don't have to be the body type police. You know,
Yeah, that was one of the
in case
worst.
in case
Bam Bam
anyone
Bigelow.
in case anyone doesn't know, for icons for the past few years, uh, we usually don't release a CAW until I make sure it's the right body type.
Mhm,
Or I test it out. I go, nope, that's not it. It's got to be this one. Nope, it's
true.
this one.
And honestly, though, too, like you weren't wrong in any of it. Like
Uh, I
a
I
body
usually have
type
a
can
very good eye
really.
for it. I have a
Mhm,
for not being a CAW creator per se. I have a pretty keen eye for certain details and certain things at times. I think working with the icons team, working with you, I'll just throw a few names out there, Sean Styles, Tyrant, K-Rad, all you just so many amazing creators, Kel's Creations. It's just made me look for that detail more.
mhm.
I know what to look for. My eye is open now. Um, just over the past like 4 or 5 years, it's
Oh, absolutely. And I think one thing too that we always did, and for what it's worth, take it as a tip or whatever for any creators, but um, I'm sure most do, but I can't speak for them. But what we will do is, create in Creation Suite and then take it into matches and run matches with that CAW and look at it in the match and see how it compares to similar body styles. Like that was a big one I know with Bam Bam Bigelow when we were doing him, yeah, creating him. Um,
yeah, yeah,
we were putting him in the match with Vader and you're comparing the body style of the in-game model to the CAW, and we're finding it might look good in Creation Suite, against a blank background there. But when you throw them in the match, sometimes
it looks
that's
different.
when you really start noticing
Yeah,
things you want to go back in there and tweak. And I think always
yeah.
running matches with CAWs is the way to go
You,
because that's when you start noticing body types and just little idiosyncrasies with moves and the CAW itself that we can go back in and start adjusting. So I don't
so
know. Mhm.
oh, I didn't mean to interrupt. So as you were saying, I'm the same way about my move sets. Like I like testing them out first in a match. And if I
Yeah.
can, I like testing them out on the CAW if we have even like before we release it, because I want to go like, hey, does this move set feel like Bam Bam Bigelow? Like,
Mhm.
is this taunt working? Is this move working? I want to make sure it feels authentic. And I know there's a lot of creators or moveset creators, they like testing their movesets out with AI versus AI, which is
Yeah.
fine, which is fine. But I want to test it out myself because I want to have it in my hands and go, do I feel like I'm playing as Bam Bam right now? Or you know what I mean? Like and that's how I really know if like I've hit it well with the move set,
Yeah.
if I've done a good job. Because when I have people telling me like, oh man, we used your Marvelous Mark Marrow and he played fantastic. He played just like Marvelous Mark Marrow. And I'm just like, that's awesome. I love hearing that as a creator because I did my
Oh,
job.
absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah, and I mean,
that's
ultimately, what people are gonna do is they're gonna download the CAW and play as them, So you
yeah.
can run an AI match, but the problem is you're not going to get the full effect of actually controlling that character. So,
Hmm.
yeah, you always wanna I agree, I think you always wanna run a match with you controlling your CAW so that you can actually finesse everything.
I try to keep my sets as I try to keep them as accurate as possible and lifelike. I want you to feel like you're actually using that wrestler, but I also want you to have fun with it. I
Yeah.
want I want to have fun with it. And I want gamers to have fun with it too. I don't want it to be a boring move set. Like, oh no, you know.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And then one other thing we were talking about, just to go back a little bit, when we were talking about some of the other things that we wish for Creation Suite, was we were talking about so the hairstyles and things like that, and the hair length, things like that. So one thing that we were talking about in the pre-show is we were saying that um, hairline, if that could be adjusted in the game with the hairstyles, that is one thing I would love to see 2K try to do or incorporate into Creation Suite, even if it's just the fact of changing the forehead height to give the impression of a receding hairline or something along those lines.
yeah,
But, I know again, like creating certain legends like IRS and Owen Hart and things like that. I mean, when you really look into like IRS, for example, like Mike Rotunda had a big forehead. It's really hard to get a hairstyle in the game. You can adjust the forehead with the dots and the sliders and things like that,
hmm,
but you put a good hairstyle on him, and that thing sits so high on his head, you know. And is there a way to adjust? Um, the way that the hairline will sit on that caw, or even again, like, is there a way to adjust the height of the hairstyle itself, like bring it a little closer? Again, add 'em on. Like, we had
yeah,
great hairstyles, but the thing sits so wide on their head. Like, are these features that 2K can start adding into Creation Suite? I don't know. I mean, I imagine that that would be incredibly complex to do, but I mean, is this something that they can look into? I mean, this is kind of why we are discussing these things, to see if we
yeah,
can come up with these ideas or things that, again, like maybe they haven't thought of, like, because again, like the placement of hair is kind of important on these cars. Like, you might
for
find a great
sure.
hairstyle, but they don't all sit on the head the same way. The hairlines obviously do change on these hairstyles. You can throw one on and it sits here, and then another one on it sits here. Like, I mean, can we start adjusting these things? Like, that would be awesome, you know?
Yeah, it'd be a nice feature to incorporate
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. So we're
Um,
coming up on like 51 minutes here,
yes,
minus the edits, but
minus the edits. So
yeah.
I
Anything
figured
you
if you
want to like
wanted to, well,
throw
so I
out there
kind of
before?
wrapping it up. You can find
Mhm,
us on X. Um, Also, well, me at the Sky Factor, the underscore Sky Factor, and Scott at DrGorillaNuts. And we'd like to kind of know your thoughts and what everyone's thoughts are on the legends announced so far. Maybe what legends would you like to see in the game, or who you think's going to be DLC.
mhm.
Um, and also what you'd like to see in create mode. What kind of new features would you like added? Um, you know, if you have any questions for us, any comments, and any thoughts on any of those topics, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're running this is like a, you know, trial run right now, but eventually we would love to be able to get, some sort of community to, contribute through these so we can kind of interact with everybody at the same time. I mean, you can find us on X or Twitter, whatever. Um, and you know you can ask anybody. We're responsive, we talk, we'll contribute our
Yeah, for
opinions,
sure.
negative or positive, towards certain features of the game. I mean, we are huge fans of this game and this team and this company, but at the same time, we have complaints as well, and we have things that we think could be better. And if people want to like contribute to that in regards to legends creation, that's kind of what we specialize in. And feel free to chime in and join us. So
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you if this episode goes over well. We might do some more.
mhm,
I know we discussed. I wasn't going to bring it up, but we were just kind of discussed. Possibly last year we had discussed making icons kind of a wrestling hub,
mhm,
for discussions and legends, and not just for not just like a community or a creation project, but also
mhm.
a hub where we can talk legends, talk wrestling, things like that. So you know,
Yeah, And that's 100% like kind of the goal from the start was get beyond just the creation and things like that and start talking about things that we love, that we see some representation in the community with, but not a lot. Like, you really don't have dedicated legends, content creators. You really don't. You have like Diva Daddy obviously is fantastic with creation. And he's a huge name in it, and shout out to him. But he needs help with it. So if we can establish something and join in on that cause, then we're here for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So anywho, it was good chatting with you, Sky.
Likewise, yeah. Look
Yeah, it was
forward
good chatting
to
with everybody.
next time.
Hopefully, we can get some feedback on these things, or it can take off and we can keep doing this. So,
Yeah,
and hopefully we
it'd
can
be
get more
fun.
people on here and talk about these things. So
Yeah,
that's what
we'll
we're here
have to
for.
add on some guests.
Absolutely. Yep.
For
Our
sure.
DMs are open. So, so
Awesome.
yeah. So anywho, I'm going to conclude it, and then, yep, just follow us, reach out to us, talk to us, whatever you guys want to do. So,
Sounds good.
all right.
We'll see you then.
All
We'll
right,
see you guys
Sky.
then.
Yep. I'll
That's
see
not
you.